What's up, everybody? Most of you guys know I tore my ACL and had to get surgery. So just before I was going in for surgery that week, my motor was finished from a builder up in Northern Virginia. I've yet to test it out, but at least I got it back. And quickly, the day before I went in for surgery, I had a buddy of mine come over from the neighborhood and help me get in there. And I just strapped my leg up really tight with a brace, and we just kind of manhandle it to where we can get the two back motor mounts to slide up in there. So then you can kind of rotate the motor around to line everything else up. And we slid an X-jack underneath it once we got it in there a little bit to help give us some support. So it was tough, but it wasn't too bad for two normal guys. I'm 51, but I keep thinking I'm 25 or 30, and that's why I keep ending up tearing ACLs and stupid crap like that. But I just want to give you some hints. When I was taking the motor apart, I followed there's actually a how-to guide on my Pinterest, and I took it from a Sport Rider magazine. And the link on there used to work to Sport Rider magazine, but it no longer works. So if anybody knows what old Sport Rider magazine this article was from, please post it up, and we can at least get someone to copy it and post it up, the images and stuff. But I've got part of it on my Pinterest, but that's what I followed to get the motor out. And it wasn't that hard to get out. Just if the oil's drained, you can kind of manhandle it a little bit as you let it down and try and use an X-jack. But as I did everything, I labeled everything. Little bags, 2 bolts from the top of the L bracket, bottom of the L bracket, the bolts next to the oil filter, everything I clearly had labeled with little sandwich bags and a Sharpie. That's your best bet to help you identify. I even drew pictures on the bags to help me, have memory recall. Because when you're taking it apart, oh yeah, I'm going to remember that. No, you don't remember. You don't. It doesn't make sense to you most of the time when you go to put it back together. So then you're checking in your manual and all that stuff, which is always a good thing. If you look on your manual on the engine section 3-8, it has a good picture of what direction and what bolts go where. It also gives you your torque values. So 3-8. When I was going to put everything back together, like I said, I had a buddy of mine at least help me get over here so we can get that X-jack under it, get the 2 mounts in the back, and then I can kind of do everything else myself. So here it is 2-3 weeks later. I don't know, my knee's been crushing me, let me tell you. I did the patella version, not a good experience. But anyhow, so today I got in here. Every bolt, I'm going to put some of this copper anti-seize Loctite. I've used it pretty much everywhere. That way in the future, if I have to take it back apart, it shouldn't be as difficult or have seizing problems. And just make sure everything's torqued down, check your values. Just anytime you go to the track, always look your bike over. Or in between seasons, check things over before you get on it. Make sure everything's still tight. You do the work, you're responsible for making sure it stays tight. All right, so quick look. I'm gonna try and do a little video editing this time around, and I'm gonna cut to a picture or a short video of the tools I used and how I've got everything set up. All right, so some things that are nice to have. Have a couple little prod bars. You're not gonna go monkeying on it. You're just gently massaging that motor as things have moved out of place. You wouldn't believe how much pressure or stress the aluminum L's brackets underneath are. And you gotta give them a little torque here and there and trying to line the holes up. You gotta give it some massaging, gentle massaging, so you don't end up hurting the motor or hurting anything that's aluminum on the frame. So between that, a few other basic tools, that was the big thing. And then kind of I could use a screwdriver too to stick in a hole, see how far off am I, if I kind of adjust it, that's not a lot of pressure. Then I knew if I can get my prod bar under there, boom, that would work as well. All right, now let me talk to you about these right here. So on your schematic, these are the hardest thing to put in. on your water pump side. If you've already taken that water pump off, just leave it off. It'll make putting this one on the water pump side a lot easier. This would be on the back side of number 3. So if you're on your diagram, your schematic in your manual on 3-8, look at number 3. It goes to the motor mount bracket on the bottom. This is on the back side. Super hard to get to. Get that side first. I end up using a telescoping magnet. That kind of helped me hold it in place where I could help line it up when I couldn't get my fingers in there. I did not take off the water pump. But if I was going to do it, if it was already off, might as well leave it off. On the other side, I still haven't got it on actually. This is the last one to go on. And I'm not going to put this one on until I've tightened everything almost all the way down and I've got the X-jack out of there. Because then it'll be easier for me to go up from underneath and maybe line it up with my magnet or maybe 2 magnets. Who knows? We'll see how it works. Not easy to get it up in there. So that's going to be your frustrating one, is those. So that's number 3, diagram 3-8. All right. Hope that helps you guys. I'll give you a report back on the motor, but I've already seen some things from this builder that concern me. Now, I've only rebuilt a motor one time ever in my life. I've done top end stuff before, just changing out heads and stuff. And I've done pistons once before. Another guy bored it out, and then he supervised and looked over my shoulder as I did all the work. But I saw some things I didn't like. We'll just see how it goes, and I'll give you a full report. If everything comes out fine, great. But I am definitely going to give you the full details before I send anybody to his shop. Make sure this motor runs good, no leaks. You're going to see where there's still carbon inside the import and export, the exhaust side. I'm like, why didn't the head was being taken out? It's supposed to do the valve, supposed to reseat the valve, so I'm hoping they did that. They put new guides in, I provided that. So hopefully they did reseat the valves. And then I noticed they used a lot of gasket liquid. Some reason they went into the cases because they had some difficulty getting the pistons in. I can't have that one explained too well to me. They explained it to me, something about coning and putting them. I'm like, I've only had to do that one time before, and I didn't have a problem as an amateur. But the guys race, they semi-professionally race a team out of there. So I'm hoping everything they told me was honest and truthful. But I definitely am looking at, as an amateur, I see some concerns of not using real gaskets, or maybe this is so I got a feeling I'm pulling this motor back out before it's over with, before the track season's over with. I may not even get much of a track season if this bike doesn't cooperate and my knee doesn't cooperate. But I'll put in a picture, put in my Pinterest link on the article from Sport Rider magazine. Hopefully one of you knows which one of those, what year that was, what month that was, that they used this 94, 95 GSXR 750, a straight how to do on how to take the motor out. Hopefully this helps you out, and good luck with your own motor. Bye.